My name's Larry Cox. Nancy and I have been married for several years now. I've been a volunteer full-time for 10 years almost in Matamoros. I've organized missions for disaster relief and building small homes in a lot of different places over that time period. We, with a lot of volunteers from the U.S., built a facility called Casa Bugambilia. It exists to care for people who are ill and abandoned. I always go back to what's really deep inside of us is to respond to people who are suffering. Some of the people that we've helped, others would have just let die, and we're not going to do that. Kayla right now is 12 years old. She'll be 13 next August. Kayla was born obviously with problems, brain damage and having seizures. Her own mother rejected her from the start. When Nereida was 12 years old, around her 12th birthday, she was attacked by 5 young men at a party. They all abused her, and Nereida became pregnant. She gave birth the following August to Kayla. She wasn't 13 yet, and I believe that they tried to a traditional delivery. It's just a lot of things happened, but she lost part of her brain. And by the time Kayla was around 5, the mother had disappeared. Her primary caregiver was her great-grandmother, and Antonia asked me, she said, really, I don't believe anyone in my family really cares for Kayla, and if anything ever happens to me, will you take her and take care of her? I thought that Antonia had a lot more time than she had, but she would be dead within 2 weeks. We started caring for Kayla full-time in the summer of 2005, and it was obvious that she was distressed. She could barely stand alone. She seemed to be dizzy. She couldn't focus. Her eyes would just wander all over the place, and very, very limited vocabulary. We've gone a long ways with her, teaching her how to really walk properly, how to speak. It took 2 years to teach her how to buckle a seatbelt. In short time, she became like my daughter. I was driving her to the special education school in downtown Matamoros, and all of a sudden, Kayla says, "Mira, papi, hay montañas en el cielo." And she pointed to the clouds as though she had noticed it for the first time. And she says, "Look there, Daddy, there's mountains in the sky." To me, that was the first signal that she could think on a different level than what people gave her credit for. May of 2011, Nancy and I received some direct threats that we had to respond to by leaving Mexico and moving to the United States for our own protection. Kayla is a Mexican citizen. I did not know what to do, and received advice to bring Kayla to the bridge in Brownsville and ask for humanitarian parole. Then we walked in the door and I asked for humanitarian parole, and it was immediately denied. That was on June 7th, 2011. She's been in detention with the U.S. government, and we've had no contact with her since then. And you wonder, who's she around? Who's helping her to dress? What are they doing to help her with her development? You worry about if they're not controlling her seizures, will that light be extinguished? And those questions are there all the time. I can't even begin to think of life without Kayla. We can't forget Kayla and won't. How can you forget your daughter? Can't.